Hi guys, I hope everything looks good. This is my first ever Facebook Live video. The very first question I got, and you can start throwing questions at me now, but I saw some question. Why do I call it Q&R? And the reason is I stole it from somebody else. They said they have questions and responses, so I thought that was better since usually I'll get some questions you guys ask me and I won't answer them. So rather than Q&D, question and dodge, I thought we'd go with Q&R. So does anybody else? Oh, look, I can see your eyeballs coming in here. That's amazing. But if you want to get started, you can just start throwing questions at me. I'm currently I'm doing a guest of honor deal at JordanCon, which is they've been amazingly gracious hosts, and they gave me lots of pretty badges. Robert Jordan, big influence on me. I've been having a great time. So, all right, I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So this might be the shortest Q&R ever.
We have one from somebody who wasn't able to make the chat.
Okay. Oh, sure.
That one.
Oh, I'm gonna be juggling multiple devices. Okay, I'm curious. Matthew Reller says, I'm curious to know if you have plans to complete the graphic novel version of the Night Angel trilogy. I found my signed copy of it the other day, and so it got me thinking about it. Right now, I have no plans to finish the graphic novel version. That turned into it was really fun to get to do the graphic novel. And I learned a ton while I was doing it. I'd looked forward to trying a graphic novel for years and years, but I didn't grow up on graphic novels. So when we did it, I got a chance to sort of learn the language of graphic novels. But it was a huge time sink, and it was kind of supposed to be this really easy thing to do, and turned into not such an easy thing to do. And so right now, I was trying to keep on deadline, trying to keep on pace, and we have no plans to continue that right now. Maybe in the future. I feel like now with what I learned from that first graphic novel, like I could do so much better, and that'd be exciting to do someday. But I have so many things I want to do in the novels that's just not at the top of my queue. I'm going to do my best with the questions as they come in here, but of course I'm sure I'll miss numerous. Will there be a special edition of the last book? Am I allowed to talk about the thing with I'm talking to my corporate masters, or well, just one right now, but I have many. There might be a special edition of some sort, but maybe we're not ready to talk about that yet. Okay, are you asking questions from the Facebook chat? Reynaldo Sosa says, yes, I am. And greetings from Germany, Team of Babel. Hey, well, hello. Wow, you're tuning in from Germany. That's amazing. How many more books can we expect? Oh, from me. Gotcha. In the Lightbringer series, this one, number 5 will be the last. I know, famous last words, but I'm in the home stretch. I'm in the home stretch of the content edits. I've still got copy edits and first pass and stuff that it's not that interesting. You don't want to know. But it's basically done. I'm making some small changes at this point, and we're on track is the most important thing. We're on track. It will be out, barring any catastrophes, on October 22nd in the US, I think in the 24th in the UK. We like to punish the UK for some reason, or I'm not sure why that is, but they like to launch books on Thursdays, and we like to launch books on Tuesdays. So there you have it. What are you reading right now? Well, other than your comment, I suppose you mean. Right now, I'm listening to some audiobooks. I just got this. Hold on. Can you, if you guys can be patient with me? I took a photo of this book that I just got to read. I haven't even started it yet because I tried to give my book to my editor the other day, and I said, I just have a tiny number of things to fix. I can totally do that in I said I can totally do that in copy edits. And then for one beautiful day, I felt so free. I was like, I turned in my book. Now I'm gonna go to this con. It's amazing. And then she sent it back to me and said, yeah, do all those fixes first, and then we'll turn it into to copy edits. So it came back to me. So I haven't been able to start reading just for fun or even for business fun yet, but I got this book in the mail that I'm supposed to blurb. Although what I can bring to this guy, I'm not sure. Let's see if I can hold this up. Yeah, that doesn't really show up, does it? It's called A Hero Born by Jin Yong. So at the top it says, no, definitely can't see that. At the top it says 300 million copies sold worldwide. 300 million copies. Holy smokes. So I hope to crack that open in the next couple of weeks. And I hope it's amazing. I mean, I think the 300 million number is actually from his lifetime. He was, of course, a huge author from Hong Kong, also in mainland China. Let's see. All right. Will we get a modern day Night Angel book, perhaps a novella? I'm not planning a modern day Night Angel book, but what I am going to do is I am writing a Night Angel world novel. Will be the next thing I do. So as soon as I'm done with this book, do book tour and whatnot, I'll be working on a Night Angel book. Right now, just thinking one. I'll be experimenting with it a little bit, but I won't comment further on that. But I've got a lot of, basically every time things have gotten really hard and I've gotten stuck in Lightbringer, I've thought, man, this other novel would be really amazing. And so in my head, it sounds like it'll be really easy to write, but I always fool myself and believe that the next book will be really easy to write. So one Night Angel world novel, I'm not going to say which characters it's going to have, but it will have some characters at least that you know and love or love to hate. Just Jeff Schwartz. Oh, okay. I just answered Jeff's question there. And hello to you in Kentucky. Rick, it was nice meeting you too. Vlad. Oh, that's not actually a question for me. Ben Jones asked if you could see any of your books turned into a Netflix series, which would you like to see adapted first? Oh man, I think probably Night Angel. I'd like to see adapted first. Of course, it's not 5 enormous books long, and although there is stuff in Night Angel that would be really hard to film, like when I was writing Night Angel, I was never thinking of it for the screen. In fact, I thought some of the brutal stuff that was in the books, I thought this will keep these books from ever being popular. I was like, this will just this level of yucky stuff is gonna really limit my readership, and that didn't work out quite the way I thought it would. But talking about dealing with that stuff, child abuse and stuff, sexual abuse, some of the things that happen, especially early on in the Night Angel books, wouldn't really want to see that on the screen, so it's really dicey how you'd handle that stuff. All right. Greetings from North Dakota. Hi. Well, hello, Adam. I grew up in Montana, so I'm just thinking of North Dakota jokes in my mind. It's what we do in Montana. I think they're such serious. There's so many serious, good, hardworking people in North Dakota that Montanans just kind of have to make fun of them. But I'll abstain. Michelle, well, I think I sort of hit your question a little bit there too. When we'll finish Kyler's story, maybe. Jeremy, got yours. Palm Hauke. Greetings from South Carolina. Hello. Can't wait to finally see the end of this saga. Well, there's a special edition of the Lightbringer books compiled, similar to the anniversary edition of Night Angel. Well, first I have to say, I am I'm super excited for you guys to see what I've done, because it was scary for me to kind of ask you guys to be patient. And when I delayed the book for a year, that was terrifying. But it's been worth it. And I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it. I feel really proud of it. It's really come together. And if you don't just love it, I'm gonna be heartbroken. So don't let me down. Yeah. So speaking of special editions or box sets or this and that, maybe in the future, like those are out of my hands, of course. And usually I think publishers kind of do that after a while to sort of refresh what's on the shelf and keep things interesting and spur on more sales. So not right away. We want to, well, not me, but my corporate masters, they want to squeeze every cent out of you, and I'm helpless in the face of that. So it's all on them. I will cash their checks, however. This most recent read through of Night Angel, I'm realizing how on point the martial arts concepts are. Do you practice any martial arts? If so, which ones? I have very little martial arts background, a bit, but let's not. I won't pretend to know more than I do. Mostly, it's research, and it's just. Nowadays, you could do easily what I did just by watch 50 hours of YouTube videos, and you could figure all of it out. But I try to do stuff that I try to put together things in a way that would make sense and that would work really well. I was fascinated by the martial arts, and I thought that was cool and badass, and I wanted to incorporate that with that sort of with that edge of realism, so that you. So it feels grounded, even though you're dealing with magic using assassins. You want to make it feel a little real. Okay, tuning in from Australia. Holy smokes, we really have like a global reach here. It's this interwebs thing. It's amazing. Who are some authors that you regret only getting into later in life? Well, Douglas Adams for one. I only read him this year. So that's the cover. So I had a friend, I had a really good friend who loved Douglas Adams in high school, and looked at the cover. It was like the one with the planet, the green planet or whatever, like sticking out the tongue, and I was like, I hated that cover. It just said 1970s to me, and I said, nothing good came out of the 70s except for me. So that just sounds terrible. But I didn't like the 70s vibe I got off that. So I avoided the book purely on the basis of the cover, and then it turned out to be brilliant. Tim Powers, who I've met in the last few years, who's really amazing. There's and then of course there's a bunch of authors that I never read at all, just because they didn't happen to be in my school library. David Gemmell was one. It's like finding out that, like, reading David Gemmell was like, oh my gosh, this would be so great, and then finding out like he'd passed away just a couple years before. Like I almost could have met him. Like my career started and he had just passed away, and I got to meet his French publisher, and who was good friends with him, and like they knew him really well, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could have met him. So some of those things are kind of huge bummers. I mean Robert Jordan, if he hadn't again tragically passed away, it's like I could have met Robert. So but he was a big influence on me, like I said earlier. So there are many others that I'll think of as soon as I'm done with this chat. But I might have just skipped around in the thing. Could we have a World Book or Atlas? Oh, sorry, Robert Williams Day says, could we have a World Book or an Atlas for Lightbringer? I'd like more about the world to use it in an RPG. Man, all these things sound awesome, and I'd love to do someday. They'll take time. And I always want to be working on the next book. Well, one of the things that I've learned as I've gone along, and I've had some opportunities to be offered to get to do things like a graphic novel or various other kind of side projects, is if I want to keep writing the books, if I want to do what I'm best at, I have to say no to a lot of other things that would be really fun for me. So at some point when I'm not in the middle of a series, when I'm not up against some commitments that I've made, I might do some of those side projects, and like, I mean, a Lightbringer Atlas kind of thing would sound like really fun. But for now, I try to focus and say no. I say no to a lot of things so that I can say yes to the main thing. Evan says, thank you for creating a brilliant original world in Lightbringer. So excited for the finale. Well, thank you. I hope you guys really like it. Sal Tripoli says, shut up and take my money. Okay. I think there's a link right at the bottom, the tip jar. Did we not put up the tip jar? Dang it. Oh, you meant for the book. Well, we'll get there. Hi from West Virginia. Huge fan of all your work. How is JordanCon, and how did Robert Jordan influence and inspire you? JordanCon is awesome. Actually, it's a super friendly con. They do a great job just bringing people in. There's weird little things that they do. They're really silly. They wear tiaras and make jokes about hot dogs. I don't understand the hot dog thing yet, but I haven't been initiated into all the mysteries of this new culture. But they're great. I've really liked them. I mean, like you go to opening ceremonies and they're not boring. I mean, that's amazing. So that's quite an accomplishment. That a lot of really great people here. So I've had a ton of fun with it. I mean, Robert Jordan was like I said, a big influence on me. He was like, when I was a kid, I was growing up. Like I said, I would read all the fantasy in our school library and in our little. I grew up in a small town. My small town library. I would sort of like, I'd read Tolkien, and then I'd try somebody new that I'd never heard of, and it was usually crap. And then I'd go back and read Tolkien, and it's like Tolkien was the real deal. And then you go and then I'd try somebody else, and Robert Jordan was one where I'd be like, okay, look, I can tell he's picked up some influences from Tolkien, but he's doing his own thing, and like, oh my gosh, there's girls in this world. That's amazing. I like girls, so it, and then the diversity of cultures and just the sheer, the sheer scope of it. But for me as a kid, it was like the sheer page count. It's like I could just sink into these novels and be there for a really long time with these characters that I really liked and who, kicked butt. Come on, Rand, open that can of whoopee, and every once in a while he would, and that was awesome. Just these hugely overpowered characters doing hugely overpowered things. That was amazing for me as a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy. It was cool. So I really like that. And actually I had decided after I wrote Night Angel, I was like, oh my gosh, I'd see Robert Jordan influences everywhere in here, and maybe too much. And so I actually stopped reading Robert Jordan right when Brandon Sanderson, who's also a friend of mine, whom I admire, when he took over the series. I actually haven't read the last books because I was sort of like, you know what, I need to push that influence aside a little bit and do my own thing. So I haven't finished the books, which is, I shouldn't have said that so loud. I'm at JordanCon. But I haven't quite finished yet. Someday I'm going to go back and although now it's been so long, I feel like I have to start from the beginning. So that's a lot of pages to commit to read when my Mount TBR is like over my head these days. But someday I hope to go back and finish, and I'm sure Brandon has done amazing work. I couldn't imagine anybody else who could have taken on the job that he did take on and do it as well as he could. So he's got my admiration for doing that. Stephen Duke says, what would happen if a peril drafter were to be cut with the blinding knife? Well, you know, you're going to find out on page 235. I might be lying. Okay, I didn't. When's the next masquerade? I'm not sure. Ben Jones, what was the inspiration for the character Jarl? Something in particular you wanted that character to convey to your readers? I don't have a good answer to that. I probably shouldn't have read that one out loud since I don't have a good answer to that. I mean, Jarl for like he was just one of many fates that could befall you on the streets. Like, what will you do to survive? And people make their own compromises. People make their own way. That they go, this is what I will do to live. And for Kyler, it was, you know, I will kill people for a living, and I will kill innocent people to live. And for Jarl, it was like, I will prostitute my body to do this. This is how I will live. And in both of those cases, I wanted to explore throughout the series, what are the compromises we make to make it? What do those do to us? And how does that affect us? How does that mess us up? Jarl, of course, we didn't get to explore that quite as much as we certainly would have liked because of the nature of that world. Okay, I'm getting the signal, so that I've got to be done because we have dinner reservations and I'm supposed to go. But I'm gonna take one more on anyway. Let's see. Omar Navarez. Sorry if I butchered your name. Regards from Mexico. Well, hello. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Lindsay, Mariko, Brent, it's me. Your number one fan. I need your attention. Senpai, here I am, right? Hi, Lindsay. Nice to see you. Sean, let's see. Is there any chance of Night Angel or Lightbringer series being made into a TV show? Not right now, because I said no to everyone. Not that everyone has come knocking on my door. I've only said no to those people who have. Basically, it would take somebody. It's that time thing, and it's not just time. It's like the emotional roller coaster of having Hollywood come knock on your door. You get really excited, and then nothing happens, and then you're really disappointed. And I was like, you know what? I got this Lightbringer thing that I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I don't think books are second-rate art to film. So because I love what I'm doing, and because I want to invest all of my emotional energy into what I'm doing, and that's into the books, I'm not even going to worry about this. I'm just going to take this off the table. And so that's what I've done. At some point when I want to jump into that cesspool, I'll get a Hollywood agent and I'll do some of that stuff. But for right now, I love what I'm doing. I love this. I'm making a living. I love it. It's great. You guys are awesome. I don't need more than this. If that happens someday, great. That's wonderful. But I get to make great fiction. I have great fans, and that's enough. That's enough. And I just want to say to wrap it up, I want to thank you guys for affording me those opportunities. That I can keep doing what I love doing is amazing. That's because of you guys. I went to Comic-Con. I've been there a couple times, and we had these. I think we had like Night Angel bookmarks, and when you go to Comic-Con in San Diego, there's whole buildings, like 15-story buildings that will be wrapped in. They do like a plastic wrap billboard of the whole building, and it's like there's the movie money, and the bookmark is like there's the book money. So it's like it's this ridiculous, out of scale. Mind blower. But it's like, you know what? What's special about readers is that readers tell people when they find a book that's amazing. And we don't have the marketing budget that the movies have. We're not wrapping buildings in Night Angel covers, but that's okay. Like readers trust each other, and they tell each other, hey, read this. And it's because of you guys that I get to keep doing this. So thank you very much, and hope you have a great afternoon, evening, morning, and I'll talk to you guys later.